In this training video, we're going to be talking about the importance of discipline, how to discipline a child, what the rules are going to be for each classroom, and what the importance is for being grace-filled. As unfun as discipline can be, it's important for each classroom to have some sort of discipline for a child or a group of children that aren't listening or aren't participating or aren't going along with what the lesson is supposed to be about. You teachers are going to be putting in a lot of work and a lot of time and effort trying to get these lessons for them to learn about the gospel. So if they're not participating or not listening, it's going to be difficult for you to get your reward for working so hard. The first thing that's important is to be consistent, whether it's from different kids not showing favor or from different teachers coming in so that they know not to test us because they're going to get the same result whichever teacher they have. The other thing is to be grace-filled. Kids will be kids, as we know, and we should let them in to an extent. They're going to be silly, they're going to be loud, they are going to be creative, and those are things that God has placed in them that's unique to each kid. And so we don't want to squelch that all the time. Sometimes we can play off of their zaniness. We're here to love God and to love others. And as much as we're going to be talking about the gospel, we need to be the gospel to them. We need to be love. We need to be patient with them and kind. They are going to remember more about our attitude and our actions than our lesson, which that's why as much time as you're putting into your lesson, you need to be pursuing the Lord with your heart so that He can clean your heart and get you prepared for the unpredictability that is children's ministry. The rules of Grace Kids for Sunday school, children's church, whatever you're having with kids, these are the rules. The first one is to not talk while a teacher's talking. You've put time into your lesson. Hopefully they can get it. Whenever they do want to say something, encourage them to raise their hand if they want to talk. While they're raising their hand, they should also not be using their hand to hit anyone or push anyone. They need to be keeping their hands to themselves and their feet as well, or their head, whatever they're using to mess with other kids, they need to be keeping to themselves. And during all of that, it'd be great if they have a cheerful attitude, an obedient heart. That is going to make such a difference. And so if a kid is having a really negative, sour attitude, we need to talk with them about that. So since we can't assume that all children are going to be perfect little angels, we know that there may be some times where a child is not compliant with what you're trying to do. The first thing you need to do is give a verbal warning. Please stop doing that. Whatever it is, you need to, in a kind way, try to stop them verbally. The second thing would be that you have to remove them from the situation. So that way the rest of the class time is not spent on you verbally warning them. The next thing would be for them to have to go into the hallway with the hall monitor and sit. Hopefully while they're out in the hallway, you can have a conversation with them about how their actions are affecting the classroom. If you need to ask why they're doing, or if you need to talk with them about a heart issue, then try to do that quickly. Fortunately, there's a helper that's still in the classroom with the kids, so it's not being left alone. If you also need to send them out with the helper, that is an option as well. The final form of discipline that doesn't involve you is that if the kid is still struggling to listen, that the hall monitor will take the child to the parents upstairs or wherever the parent is. We are not the primary discipliners. That's the parent's job. Now, there's a few things that we should never do. If a child's disobeying, we shouldn't grab at their joints. Their bodies can't take the force of an adult, and so don't grab at their joints. Don't spin them around or yank them around. Don't toss them up for any reason, or toss them to the side. Just don't toss them. Again, if a child's not listening, we are not the ones that need to be dealing with them in any physical way. The parent, if it ever gets to that point, the parent needs to be the one that deals with them. And if you feel as though your attitude is one that you are struggling to keep your temper or anything like that, you need to remove yourself from the situation and someone else can handle it. But always have self-control over yourself, and if you can't anymore, you need to remove yourself. Finally, while discipline is the least fun part of teaching, it's also an important part. So make sure that you keep in mind what your expectations should be for your classroom, and try to stick to those as consistently as possible while being grace-filled. Remember, the kids are going to remember your attitude and your actions sometimes more than your lesson, and so make sure that your heart is right with the Lord and right with others. And know that God's mercy is new every morning, and so we should come each week ready to take on the kids and love them with an unconditional love.